Once upon a time, there were two friends, Anthony and Eric, and they decided that they wanted to make a show for people to watch. And they made that show called Board Game Holiday Spotlight, and they lived happily ever after. The end. Did you like my fairy tale, Eric?
It was all right. I didn't like the end. I thought that, it could have gone on for a few seasons.
Fingers crossed. But anyway, folks, welcome. My name is Anthony, and that is Eric. And the reason I started that way is because we are here celebrating, or spotlighting rather, National Tell a Fairy Tale Day, which happens to be on February the 26th. And so we thought, what a great theme. There are definitely some cool games to chat about that have a fairy tale feel to them, or have some fairy tale characters that are really classics and everybody kind of knows who these characters are. So, Eric, before we even get into some games, I'm just curious, what is one of your favorite fairy tales?
Oof. Man, I wish you would have warned me you were going to ask me this one. I'm going to have to go with Shrek. I know he's not a traditional fairy tale, but he does live in the fairy tale swamp.
That's true. That's true. Shrek was a great movie.
Right.
All those references were good. Yeah, they were all good. They just, very cool storytelling, and I liked how they did that. All right. So Shrek, anything else?
How about you? I mean, I like the gingerbread man from Shrek. He was not the giant one, Mongo, I think they named him, but the little one, from the first one. You're a monster. Right. he was a good character. I do like the Disney telling of Robin Hood. That's a fairy tale, I think, right? Because I think it's in one of the games. Spoiler alert.
Yes, he is probably in a couple of the games, I think.
That's true.
It's it's a good question that you're bringing that up, because it's kind of a blurry, like, what constitutes really a fairy tale at what point does it become something? I don't know. So, you could argue with some of our picks here, and I'd actually encourage it, because we would have someone to respond to besides just each other for a change.
Right.
But yeah, there's lots of variations of these stories and characters, and depending on who you ask, you might even get a different version, because that's how old they are.
Now, I don't know the history of fairy tales, but I'm pretty sure they started off pretty dark.
Yeah, I think the concept was that they were, like many older tales, these cautionary tales, right, which were supposed to teach a lesson, or instruct children to not do something.
Right.
And a lot of that was done through fear tactics, unfortunately. A couple of those fairy tale characters are not living a happy ending, that's for sure.
That is true. Is the Krampus a fairy tale?
I don't know where Krampus lies, right? I mean, he's kind of like a legend, I guess. Again, there's so much crossover with these
Cryptozoology. I'll leave it at that.
There you go. Well done.
Cryptid. Why didn't I just say cryptid? Now the internet's going to think I'm a moron.
Yes. It took this many episodes. Anyway, I assume you were asking me what my favorite fairy tale was.
I was.
And so I usually go with Goldilocks and the Three Bears for a couple of reasons. One, I like the ones that are so specific that you can remember pretty much the whole story and tell it, orally without reading the book of it.
Right.
And I, as a teacher, so I used to teach little kids, second grade, and I would use that, the too big, too small, just right sort of mechanism to introduce, like, reading to them when they were pretty much looking to read their own books, right? Pick books that were a good fit for them. So we'd go through this whole thing like, okay, this is a book that might not be fit for everybody, right? And sometimes you might pick up a book that's too hard. You look at the pages, you're like, I don't know what these words are. And sometimes you pick up one, you're like, okay, this, like, I read the whole book in 30 seconds. Right. It's too easy for you. So it's easy to relate to other stuff in life. So I like that one a lot.
Okay.
But anyway, let's get to some games that feature some of these fairy tales that we've been talking about. I'm going to start off with one that, like your Shrek reference, does involve a lot of sort of supplementary characters in a kind of a small way in this one, and this is called Gingerbread House. At the heart of it, this is really just like a abstract kind of tile laying game where you're trying to collect different types of gingerbread cookies in different shapes and colors, in addition to a couple of other things like a wild card and some stairs and things like that. And you're building these levels of your gingerbread house. The whole concept is you're trying to attract these fairy tale characters to your gingerbread house to capture them. And so the whole deck is all these random people. You're gonna have just a dragon, for example, but then you'll have Snow White. At the heart of it is just set collection and kind of like contract fulfillment, because those cards of the characters will have like, this guy needs 3 blue and 2 red or whatever. And as you collect those, you trade those in. All right, I got them. Move them down here. Fill up the line with another one. So you haven't played this game, right?
I have not played this game. I've heard of this game, and I had it in my list of games to get around Christmas time, and I just never pulled the trigger.
Oh, and every character, by the way, has a point value that they're just worth at the end of the game if you capture them. And then they are either a positive disposition, like a happy face, or like an angry face. And then they're either a human character or a fantasy character. So you'll have someone like Snow White, for example, who would be a human happy character. And then there will be someone like the devil in this game who is a fantasy angry character. The reason they have those attributes is because a lot of the bonus cards give you points based on those things. Like you'll get 3 points per, angry looking person or whatever. So that kind of determines how you build up and collect your stuff. Short one, about a half hour. Plays well with 2. And it's a great one for various reasons, right? Like you said, you can kind of get it for a Christmas feel because it's all the gingerbread house things. You can sneak it in for Christmas time.
Right.
And then you sneak it in for Tell a Fairy Tale Day as well. So there's that.
There you go.
All right, Eric, what's your first game featuring some fairy tale aspects?
So my first game is called Fairytale.
Ah.
Small little game. Again, this game probably, just like your game, maybe 20, 30 minutes, done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. It's cute. It's and I think it's like $25. You get it at Barnes and Noble or Target, or obviously you always want to go to your friendly local game store. But it's got 3 miniatures. It's got the princess, the dragon, and the knight. And
painted miniatures.
They're painted. Now, if you look really closely at them, the faces, not so good. But from like a couple of feet away, looking at them on the table, they look great.
Yeah, no, they're good, like kids' toy looking figurines for sure. I like them.
Oh, this is definitely going to be a fun kids game.
Yeah.
When my child is older than 18 months, she can't really play a game just yet, but she's getting there. Right now, she likes to play Catch the Kitty. Anyway, so Fairytale, you're going to be on your turn. You're going to be either taking out a new tile to put out, or you're going to move one of the characters. And each character moves a different way. Princess can move 1 space, or she can like teleport from castle to castle. The prince or the knight can move 2 spaces, and the dragon can move as far as he's allowed in just a straight line, and he has to go all the way to the edge. You can't like pull up short in just a single straight line. And these are all hexagonal, right? Tiles.
Yeah, they're 3 hexagons attached, so they look like a sort of a triangle shape, but they're hexagons. Yeah.
And you're going to have storytelling cards, or I think pages they're called, for your book. And it's going to tell you, get the prince, I keep calling him a prince, get the knight and the princess to meet in the forest. So if you get both characters to the forest on your turn, you can show the card and say, I did this, put it off to the side. You score that later on, and then you get a new page, which might tell you to get the dragon and the knight on the castle, and it's got this whole story. And then at the end of the game, it's really cool because you have all these cards, and it's not the whole story, but it's your whole story. And you just kind of read them straight, and I don't know, it's a little flavor text
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's cool.
Sometimes it comes out really nicely. Sometimes there's weird gaps in the story, but
Right,
it's a fun touch nonetheless. It's kind of a nice sort of ending to the game. So
right.
it's not just it's over. It's over. Plus, here's a little thing that you can read. But yeah, I like this game a lot. Again, it looks really cool on the table. Games like this that are pretty simple. You have a couple things you can do on your turn, and that's it. You're not going to get a lot of analysis paralysis in a game like this. You're going to think about your decisions though. So there's enough strategy that it's satisfying, but not too much where it's going to drag on. Okay, so my next game here is a game with multiple expansions, multiple playable characters, and many of those characters have roots in uh, sort of these old school fairy tales. And that game is Disney's Villainous. So there are a lot of characters that are strictly Disney, made up Disney characters, but a lot of them are based in older stories like fairy tales. And a couple of them even appear in some of the other games that we already talked about. For example, in Gingerbread House, I know Snow White and the Seven Dwarves are there,
Right.
and Robin Hood is in there, I believe. Rumpelstiltskin's for sure. This is an asymmetrical game, meaning that you have a very different set of goals and objectives than and sort of powers than your opponent does. So every character in this game plays a little bit differently. Each one comes with its own little sort of villain guide to tell you what it is you're trying to do. And I mean, that was the attractive thing to me right off the bat when I heard about this game that you played as the villains. That's just
Right.
a pretty cool concept.
And Disney's got some really cool villains. So
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
oh yeah,
and they've come out with what, like 4 or 5 expansions, a Marvel version, all
yeah.
types of different villainous. So if you like it, there's a lot of different villains to choose from.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. If you're a Disney fan, I mean, this is like a gold mine. Like there's so much to do, and the little miniatures, the standees that represent each bad guy are really
Right.
cool looking too.
Yeah.
They're very abstracted. They're not like a full on body of the person, more like a sculpture type bust thing. They're really cool looking. Yeah, you can play as so many different villains that no two games are really going to feel similar, which I think is really cool with this game. Um, I I think it plays up to 4 or maybe even 5. I don't know if I would be down for that high of a player count in this game. I kind of like it at 2 because every action you take or every hero you send out to thwart your opponent is just there. Like, so yeah, it has to take that, but if you only play 2 players, you don't feel like you're getting picked on because you have no choice.
So in a 3-player game, let's say I'm Hook, who has the Peter Pan cards? Do you have them, or does everybody that's playing against me have them?
Yeah, they don't really belong to anyone. They sort of
Okay.
go. I'm pretty sure you have your player board in front of you with your
Like a
locations.
communal pool of cards?
Yeah, I think it just goes on the side of your board, and then anyone who takes that fate action will then just draw. I think you draw 2 cards and choose one of them to send. They block 2 of the actions that you can usually take at a location, so they really slow down
Right, right.
your whole thing, which is annoying. Then you try to defeat them, but that takes time too. So I just played recently as the Queen of Hearts, and my objective was I had to get one of the card guys, the card guards, at each of the locations, turn them so that they became the wickets in croquet, and then play a card, specifically card that says take the shot. So you have to get that set up, and then you play the card, and then you might win. I took the shot and missed, so I had to
Uh-huh.
like kind of regather, and in that regathering, I lost. I just ran out of time. But Lauren played as Prince John, who I believe might be the easiest character to win as, because all you have to do is get 20 of those power token currency
Okay.
things.
I've played it just once,
Okay.
just 2-player, me versus Melissa. And so just right off the bat, it's an asymmetrical take that game. Not in my wheelhouse. But it's Disney, and you get to be the villains. So, we got it. We gave it a chance. And Melissa loves Disney as well. So, we definitely wanted to get this one. And I was Hook, and I don't remember much. Melissa she was Ursula.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she had to do something with the trident. But I do remember that Hook needed to do something with Peter Pan, and for some reason that card ended up getting reshuffled. It was like the last card of the deck, and it got reshuffled because I just couldn't use it when it came up. And I remember I got upset. I was like, oh great, like there's my chance. Like now this card is going to be the absolute last card that shows up again. And it was. I think the next time through the deck, it was like one of the last three cards. And I lost. I didn't enjoy it very much. But like you said, the components look really cool. It's Disney, so the artwork is already just amazing. And it's got this it's Disney. I'm familiar with Disney, and
Yeah.
So I like that. It's like when I play comic book games. Like I love comic books, and this is my comfort zone.
Right.
And I really want to enjoy this one, and I'm gonna give it another chance. Just hasn't happened yet, and it's actually it's not even out on the board game shelf. It's in the closet.
You got punished.
Got punished.
That's very meta. So you're the villain, and you like punished the villainous game because you don't like it.
That is true. I am very, very evil to my board games.
Yeah, I like this one. I want to get more expansions, but I have to play it more. Like I don't feel like I play it enough to justify getting more of them. Because then you're talking about if you get them all, I think there's like you said 5, and I have
There's
the Marvel
at least
one
3.
too. Which I haven't played
you
yet.
have the Marvel one, okay?
Yeah, which I don't think you can combine.
I don't think so.
From what I
I guess you could. You could probably play as like Thanos or I don't know, Dr. Doom. I don't really know who's in it. I would assume probably all the people, Ultron, all the people from the movies.
Ultron is in it. Thanos is in it. Killmonger is in it.
Right,
That's 3, and I feel like there's 3 more.
Red Skull.
I don't think so. Let's take a look. But I don't think you can play it with the Disney one. Like, I don't think you can do Thanos versus Hook.
Okay.
I think there's another mechanism in this one that makes that not a thing. Who else we got here? Oh, Hela.
Okay.
Oh, there's only 5. Sorry. So Thanos, Hela.
Thor villain.
Yep. Ultron, Killmonger, and Taskmaster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think I might want to. The first time I play this one, I think I'm going to go with him.
Awesome.
It's a toss up between him and Ultron, but yeah, Taskmaster is very underrated.
That he is.
Tony Masters.
My final game is called Grim Forest. Now, this is an annoyingly large box of a game. You can find it anywhere. You can find it maybe actually at Target. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. It's very popular. It comes with a bunch of miniatures of the little pigs, the big bad wolf, some other wolves, some bridge trolls. And on your turn, you're gathering resources. Everybody's doing simultaneous action selection, basically. They're choosing where they want to gather resources from out of the hay or wheat, I don't know, wood and brick. And so
yellow, brown, and red.
Yellow, brown, and red. And those are the 3 houses you can build out of. You can build a brick house, you can build a wooden house, you can build a hay house. That's the ultimate goal. But you're also getting cards, and you're getting friend cards, and some of the friends are other fairy tale characters, like I think Robin Hood and maybe Cinderella, and a lot of different characters are in the game, and you can only have one friend at a time. But if you like your friend and you draw a new friend, you don't really like him as much, you can give him to the other person, and then they get rid of their friend, and they can get all bent out of shape about it, whatever.
No,
so it's got a little bit of take that. Yeah, it's got a little bit of take that. But really, it kind of feels like a race to see who can build 3 houses the quickest. It feels like it's missing some sort of an expansion where there's just something else to do.
So, what do the friends provide for you? How do they benefit?
Special abilities or special actions that you can do later on. Okay. There's some take that stuff. There's also Fables cards that also allow you to do different things throughout the game. Sometimes you get the big bad wolf, and you'll get to put him on a space, stopping people from going there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different stuff like that. But if you go into the game and you just want to collect resources, build a house, I win. You probably could. It kind of feels like that's what you're doing. The cards don't add enough to the game.
Okay.
that it's really, but again, it's a fun game. It's just, it could be so much better because the components are amazing looking.
Yeah, yeah. You're even like the houses have like three, like you're literally building the house. It's pretty cool.
You're putting a foundation, you're putting
Yeah.
up walls, and you're putting a roof. And it looks great, and all the miniatures look great. And if you can paint, they look great.
Right.
And you get to do the bad guys, and you get to do the pigs, and everything just looks amazing. But it's more of a kid's game at this point, which is great, because I got a kid, but they're not ready for it yet.
So you feel like the components are almost wasted on this game?
Yes.
Like they could have been used in a much better game?
Yes. When I first played this game, the first few times I played this game, which might have been the only few times that I played this game, I felt like it just needed an expansion, just to add something else to do where you're not just racing to build these houses. You're trying to build these houses, and you're also doing this, and maybe the end game is different. It's not just whoever builds 3 houses, but there's something else going on, and I don't know what it is. I'm not a board game designer.
Right. Well, so what you just said sounded like it would be like almost better as a worker placement game where building houses was just one of the things that you could do with your characters, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I only played this game once, and similar, I kind of felt like it was okay. I wasn't raring to play it again, but it was fun to play with. It was fun to play with.
Yeah, and it's oozing, Fairytale theme. So you got to talk about Tell a Fairytale Day, Grim Forest.
There you go. So that's 2 picks each from us. There's a one sort of honorable mention. It's an honorable mention for me because I've never played it. Eric, I don't think you've played this either, but it's literally called Fairytale. It's a card drafting game. One of the first, arguably, from what I hear. Again, I've never played it, but it's called Fairytale, so it's enough to mention on National Tell a Fairytale Day. Eric, anything else to add for this ending besides Happily Ever After?
Have a happy National Tell a Fairytale Day, and if you got kids and you read them stories, February 26th, read them a fairy tale.
And if you have kids and you don't read them stories, you should start reading them stories.
That is true.
Now. Can't stress that enough. Read to your kids. Especially in the formative years, from birth to like 3 years old, the amount that you read to your child has exponential growth later in life for them, that it's like a no-brainer. So go ahead and do that more often. Anyway, thanks for listening to us rant about Fairytale games, and hope you enjoyed it. Leave us some comments below. Maybe you have some other games that have some Fairytale aspects to them that we didn't mention, or just tell us your favorite Fairytale. Regardless, give it a thumbs up. And man, if you haven't subscribed yet, give us subscribe to Board Game Dads. I'm on a race with my friend Chris to get to 100 subscribers, and he's kicking my butt. He's at 66 as of today, and I'm at 44. So I'm really lagging behind here. All right. Thanks, everyone. Eric, have a great evening.
You too.
We'll see you guys next time.